Total War Rome Remastered comes out tomorrow, and I bet you're excited to relive your youth listening to the one song on the campaign map with a lady singing about her lost cantaloupes. I'm not sure if that's what she's singing about, I don't speak Greek, but we all know the track I'm referring to. With that being said, some archers in the game are not so great, while others, even at the beginning stages, are overpowered beyond a comfortable level. And I'm not talking about showering without a bathing suit on level comfortable, nay. From the lowly archers to the men of Crete, archers are the backbone of every good military force. In this video today, we're going to discuss my top 5 picks for the strongest ranged units in Total War Rome Remastered. This will cover both mounted and infantry range units. If you'd like to just simply jump ahead or see what units are in this list, I've marked them in the chapters on the timeline or within the description. Also, if you have not yet picked up Rome Remastered, feel free to use my Nexus store link below. They get Steam keys directly from the developer, so you get reliable, safe keys, and it's a great way to support the channel. Lastly, if you're enjoying this content, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. It helps out immeasurably. I'm afraid to admit what I've done for a single like. Either way, let's get started on the top 5 best ranged units in Total War Rome Remastered. Our first unit, and coming in at number 5 on our list, is the Scythian Horse Archers. Now, these are very inexpensive, cost-effective, and great tier 1 archers that are impossible to catch since they fire whilst moving and they're fast cavalry. So if you have any light cavalry or fast cavalry that you want to have chase them down, they'll just get plucked apart by the fire whilst moving from the horse archers. The real intention of these guys is to swarm the armies that you'll be fighting in the areas of your campaign, either to the west, the east, or the south. Also, they can swing 1 or 2 tiers up before having to be swapped for higher tier horse archers. You start with them and they will serve you well beyond the mid game against other rebels, barbarian nations, and the Thracians to your south. They make a really good reactionary force. You can have a half stack or a full stack of these and just clear your land of rebels because they can move so quickly. And especially when it comes to the later portions of the game with these guys, yes, they're the better counterparts, the upgraded versions, are very OP, so they're not a force to be reckoned with, but these guys can still actually be viable in a mid to late tier army because they can attack the flanks or other light infantry. I did some simulations using 4 to 6 of these to kill a stack of 10 to 15 of varying unit types, and it was just like gravy. Don't use the Cantabrian Circle though. It's a trap and it's meant exclusively for archer duels. These units though are one of the strongest units in the game and not just in the early game. Their biggest downfall though is their low melee attack and the fact that they have a limited range of 120, which again gets shored up from their upgraded units later on. But one of their biggest strengths is that high 4 morale. Morale plays such a huge portion of Total War Rome Remastered, and to have this on a tier 1 unit that will get charged by things is great, because then if your leader dies, these guys can actually still hold the line with this good morale for a light cavalry missile unit. Coming in at number 4, we've got the Pharaoh's Bowmen. Now, these are the best archers in Egypt and the surrounding lands to the west and northeast in the Levant. And honestly, their stat line is very similar to the Cretan Archers. What the difference is here, they have a missile attack of 10 versus the Cretan Archers being 11. Also, they have a great 170 missile range. Now, it is worth mentioning that all top tier archers do have 170 missile range. Where these guys really shine true though is their great defensive stats, and they're pretty good melee attack as well. So with that 10 morale, like we were talking about with the Scythian Archers, it allows these guys to be very durable. If they get charged by a cavalry charge from the rear or the flank, they're not as likely to buckle as your bottom tier or mid tier archers. They have that sustainability. In addition, with 9 melee attack, they can actually threaten back to any melee infantry that would charge them and look to take them out and end their reign of terror of bow and arrow. Now, when it comes to total defense of 12 and 7 armor and 5 defense skill, again, that helps with both instances in which they would be charged. But where this also really helps is when they're getting in an archer duel. They will exchange a little bit better in those duels because they're going to have that higher armor, they're going to have the matching missile range, and as far as missile attack goes, these guys are going to have a missile attack that's better than most top tier archers. And in addition to all these defensive stats being good on paper, these are the best defensive stats of any archer in the game, minus the tier 1 unit that we're going to talk about later at the end of this video. But I truly believe that the only big downfall to the Pharaoh's Bowmen is that they are a tier 3 unit. So you will be getting them in the mid portion of your Egyptian campaign, but once you do, it really gives you a lot of superiority when it comes to the archery range as you conquer through Egypt. Number 3 on our list comes in at a staggering 5 foot 3 inches, and it's the Cretan Archers, the archers that everyone remembers the most. Now, these archers are valuable from turn 1 to almost your last turn if you're doing a Greek cities or Macedonian playthrough. They're easily accessible as mercenaries in both Rhodes and Pergamum, which the Greeks start at, and they even have a very manageable upkeep at 200 denarii per turn. That is pretty steep in the very initial portions of the game, but as you get going with a larger, higher tier army, you'll find that for the most part, these things are actually undercosted by comparison. They're also extremely mobile with good speed, stamina, the ability to fire flaming shots, and they also have 170 range. And we talked about that with the Pharaoh's Bowmen, but what makes it so scary here with the Cretan Archers is that you can get access to this at turn 1. They have the ability to really just outclass everything around you. Rome to your west, Seleucids to the east, Thracians to the north, for a good chunk of turns in your campaign. And like I said, especially since these guys are accessible from turn 1, they're really going to be able to pour out a ton of range damage into your foe. At 11 missile attack, they have some of the highest missile attack in the game, up to those higher tier archers that people won't get access to for some time. And then again, at 170 missile range, you're going to be able to outclass other archers. And why that's important here is because the biggest downfall for the Cretan Archer is its very poor defense. At 4 total defense and 0 armor, these guys cannot take range damage in return. They will lose archer duels very quickly. But again, like I said, with 170 range, everything else at your tier 1 is only going to have 120 range. And in addition to that, they have flaming missiles. Most things don't have that until at least tier 2. So you have the ability to usually use these guys very well in a defensive siege and knock out any kind of siege equipment coming your way. And in addition to that too, they are fast moving, so they can move around any of your sieges that you deal with, that you're going to be dealing with Macedon, the Romans, or Seleucids, or if you're actually trying to fight any of the rebel Greek cities to snatch them up. They are an amazing archer, and there's a reason that these archers have stuck in everyone's mind, and it's not just the cool floppy hats. Coming in at number 2 on our list is the Forester Warband. Now, these are the special range unit for the Gauls, and they are extremely powerful. They have an identical stat line to the Cretan Archers when it comes to range play, but outside of that, they are much better than their Cretan counterparts. For one, they have an added bonus in not just woods, but also snow. And as you can see, as they take a knee, getting ready to talk to the coach, they can also hide anywhere on the map, making it very advantageous for being able to position them in different places, because they also have very good stamina and they're fast moving. So move them to where you want, they're going to hide, and it allows you to really be mobile in the battlefield with these guys, because in addition to their really great missile profile, right, with 11 missile attack and 170 range, they are almost the opposite of the Pharaoh's Bowmen we talked about 2 entries ago. If the Pharaoh's Bowmen had amazing defensive stats and decent melee stats, the Forester Warband has amazing melee stats and pretty decent defensive stats. They've got 7 total defense with 3 armor and 4 defensive skill. But they've got 11 melee attack. If you kind of combine that here with their 12 morale, this allows them to really hold the course if they get attacked by a melee infantry unit, and more than likely actually trade back into that unit effectively. If you want to put this into perspective, Forester's 11 attack is stronger than a legionary cohort at 9 melee attack. with only one less defensive skill. So these guys are extremely powerful when it comes to fighting in close combat if they actually get cornered and have to square up. In addition to, they're only a tier 2 unit, so getting them up and running in your campaign is going to be crucial to Gaul's conquest of the surrounding barbarians and the eventual capitulation of Rome. Number 1 on this list is the Terror of the Steppes, the Scythian Noble Archers. Now what's so strong about this unit is that it is a horse archer with the range of all of the archers on foot, all the top tier archers. So it can actually threaten back against a unit that would otherwise work to counter them. Pop themselves in a Cantabrian circle and they can actually effectively cut down any of the archers on foot that we've talked about thus far. In addition to that, they have a beefy stat line. If we're taking a look at their missile attack, it is only 8, but again, that missile range is beautiful. Now, a little bit of a downfall here too is their ammo is quite low, but still it's 30 shots per model here in this unit of 55. That's quite a lot of ammo being poured down range. In addition though, they have a great melee attack of 10 with a really solid charge of 6. So as they kind of empty out their ammunition, or if they get in the back line or the flanks of your opponent, you can really use these guys cripplingly to charge in quickly, do some damage, and then leave. They'll probably break the morale of anyone they're fighting against. Now defensively, they have a great 9 armor, 12 total defense with only 3 defense skill, which is a little bit more of a hamstring for them, but that 8 morale more than makes up for it because, like we've talked about plenty of times in this video, morale is so important for Total War Rome Remastered. And another big thing that these guys have going for them is that these are, just like their barbarian bros that we've talked about, they are only a tier 3 unit. And in the Scythian campaign, your starting capital is a mere 3,000 population away from being able to recruit these guys. So they're a pretty early to mid-game power unit that is disgustingly OP once you get off the ground with them. And especially if you supplement these alongside the normal Scythian archers, they're going to be able to do a ton of damage. They don't have the fast cavalry that their previous 2 iterations have with the Scythian horse archers and the Scythian noble women, but they're still extremely quick on horse and able to do a ton of damage in both melee and at ranged. And that concludes our list for the top 5 best range units in Total War Rome Remastered. So go ahead and leave a comment below about maybe some units that you think should have been on this list, or maybe swapped some of these units around. Let me know what your top 5 best range units are for Total War Rome Remastered. Maybe you have had better luck with some and less luck with some of the ones on this list. One of the things about the top tier range units in Rome, especially for the barbarian units, all the chosen archers for the most part have this same stat line. So you really can't go wrong with the majority of the range units, but these are some of the ones that really shine above the rest. As always guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below, all that fun action, but be on the lookout tomorrow for another video that is a list for the best campaigns to play in Total War Rome Remastered. As always though, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.